sports or go to the gym or even run up and down your street 5,000 times a day, I don't recommend the last one, then you'll get stronger and stronger. It's the same with resilience. The more you do stuff, the more you open yourself up and the more resilient you can become. I hope by the time you've listened to the last page of this book, that's exactly what you'll be raring to do. I wish I'd had a book like this when I was growing up. It's not academic, and there aren't any complex ideas. I'm a doer. I'm a fidget with the attention span of a gnat. I'm hyperactive, and that's how I get better at anything. I find out what I can, then I go and try it. I might make a mess of it. I might not, but I know that doesn't matter. Experience is an amazing teacher. So none of these lessons come from a classroom. They're the result of everything I've seen and done, everything that's happened to me. I've made stupid mistakes. I've tripped myself up more times than I care to mention. I've failed over and over again. But my advice is tried and tested. It's what works for me. It works for all the grown-ups I help, and I think it will work for you. You might find it demanding at times, but I guarantee it will be worth it. I think it will also be a lot of fun. One last thing. You're stronger than you think you are. You're probably pretty resilient already. I mean, flipping heck, you've lived through a global pandemic. I'm only here to help you find what's already inside you. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to develop total resilience. Chapter 1. Life can get tough. You don't need me to tell you that life is full of things you probably wish weren't there. There's the stuff you know about, like exam stress and bullies and losing important games of football. And then there are those curveballs, the things that just come out of nowhere, like lockdowns or suddenly discovering that you're going to have to move to another city. When I was barely 8 years old, my dad died. That, I can tell you, was a curveball. One moment, I was a normal kid going to a normal school in a normal town in England. The next thing I knew, I'd lost my father. It wasn't something I ever could have anticipated. I didn't have time to prepare for it, but blimey, suddenly I had to deal with it. You might have experienced something similar. You might not. If you have, I'm truly sorry. I was devastated by the loss. Suddenly, there was a yawning gap in my life. There were days when I didn't think I'd survive the pain. It seemed to live permanently beneath my ribs. Things got even more complicated when my mum remarried. Every detail about Dad was wiped from our lives. Even his pictures were taken off the walls. And then, quite suddenly, we moved to France. We went from a hectic life in Portsmouth to a remote village in Normandy, where a lost cow or a very fat chicken could end up as the talk of the town. It was a big jolt. To begin with, there was a period of freedom when I could run wild in the fields around our home. We had adventures, built dens. It was amazing. But it couldn't last. I had to go to school, which felt like a very bad thing to me. Nobody likes being the new kid, right? And as if I wasn't nervous enough, I wasn't just going into a new school. I was going to a new school in a new country where they spoke a language I didn't understand. Nightmare. Somehow, there was space for the situation to get worse. On my first day, my mum's rackety old car wouldn't start, so we were seriously late. I remember how embarrassed I was as watched by 20 very curious kids and one very cranky teacher. I walked into the classroom. Then, just as I was thinking, well, at least this is as bad as it will get, something else happened. I tried to explain why we were late.